Chapter 20, Integrated Reporting Framework, Global Reporting Initiative Framework, BRSR. So first, integrated reporting is a part of evolving corporate reporting system. This system is enabled by comprehensive frameworks and standards addressing measurements and disclosures in relation to all capitals. All capital means 6 capitals. Integrated reporting is consistent with the developments in financial and other reporting, but an integrated report also differs from other reports and communication in a number of ways. In particular, it focuses on the ability of the organization to create value in a short, medium and long term. As in so doing, it has combined emphasis of consciousness, strategic focus and future orientation. The connectivity of the information and the capitals and their interdependencies emphasizes the importance of integrated thinking within the organization. Means all integrated reporting related should write. Next, guiding principles. There are 7 guiding principles. First, strategic focus and future orientation. Strategic focus and future orientation. Second, connectivity of the information. Connectivity of the information. Stakeholder relationship. Materiality. Conciseness. Reliability and completeness. Consistency and comparability. So, first, guiding principles of integrated reporting. Like in these principles, they gave the reason why integrated report came. So first one is strategic focus and future. So for future purpose, integrated is useful. That one. Next, connectivity of the information. Financial and non-financial both will be connected. And stakeholder relationship. This is important. Materiality, which is material, on that we can focus. So integrated reporting, IR. Next, conciseness. IR should be concise. And reliability and completeness. As IR should be concise, it doesn't mean it should be left incomplete. So reliability and completeness, consistency and comparability. The information in an IR should be presented on a basis that is inconsistent over the time and in a way that enables comparison with other organizations. Next, content elements. There are 8 content elements fundamentally linked to each other and are not mutually exclusive. So, guiding principles to determine what information is reported as well as how it is reported. First, organizational overview and external environment. Next, governance. Next, business model, risk and opportunities, strategy and resource allocation, performance, outlook, basis of presentation. Benefits of IR. First, IR is an ideal tool focused on the driving more authentic, comprehensive and meaningful information about all the aspects of the organization's performance. Next, IR brings together material information about the organization's strategy, governance, performance, prospectus. Next, it leads to a clear and concise articulation of the organization's value creation. There are multitude of benefits associated with the IR, both within the organization and external perspective. IR shows the holistic picture. It shows a link between the financial and non-financial performance, bringing governance issues, financial capital, intellectual capital, social capital and environment capital onto common platform could enhance the transparency and accountability for small and medium local companies, which could ideally be aiming to reduce cost. Adoption of IR could bring the sustainable savings. So IR promotes create clarity, lower the reputational risk. IR would enable better understanding of the capitals and their related outcomes, therefore lowers the reputational risk. So first, cost will be less, reputational risk will be less, and accountability and transparency will be increased, and holistic picture and financial and non-financial. This is a link between IR and within the organization and external, both will be looked into, and IR is an ideal tool. These are the benefits, and in short also they gave benefits of IR. First, encourage your organization to think in an integrated way, clearer the articulation of strategy and business model, a single report that is easy to access and clear and concise, creating value for stakeholders through identification, measurement of non-financial factor, linking of non-financial performance more directly to the business, better identification of risk and opportunities, improved internal process leading to better understanding of the businesses and improved decision making process. And challenges in implementing IR framework. First, converting the traditional report to more concise and financial, mainly concerned with financial terms and related disclosure. Next, the conventional report is very lengthy, so it's challenging to make it concise. First one is, it was a traditional report concerned with the financial, and now all value creation should include. That was the first. Second is it is a lengthy and to make it concise. Next, it does not provide the detailed information because it includes because it should be prepared in a concise manner, so it does not provide detailed information. Next, it includes non-financial information, so due to which it is a more time consuming process to prepare. Next, it requires a high expertise for understanding this report because it is a concise report explaining the matter in summary. So because of concise, there are two disadvantages. First, does not provide the detailed information, and to understand, high expertise is required. Next, describing company's business model in relation to the framework is one of the hardest aspects to implement because of the framework's capital based approach. Next, few other challenges in that. Seventh point is lack of standardization, reluctance in disclosing the sensitive information, lack of importance of non-financial information, associated cost of reporting, difficulties with measuring and linking sustainability performance. Next, GRI, Global Reporting Initiative Framework. So GRI is an organization that provides a framework for sustainability reporting that can be used by all the types of organization. It is a guidelines on sustainability reporting are widely used, and GRI is is an independent international organization that helps businesses and other organizations take responsibility for their impacts. GRI's mission is to take sustainability reporting standard practice by providing guidance and support that enable organization to report transparency and accountability. GRI grew, the reporting system was broadened to include social, economic and governance. Next, GRI standards for reporting. There are three standards. First, topic, sector, universal. Topic, sector, universal. Topic, sector, universal. Topic means only for that topic, sector means for whole the sector, and universal means majorly all the companies. First, universal standards. GRI Foundation 1. It is in GRI Foundation 2021. It's just outlined the purposes of the GRI standards, and it also specifies the principles such as accuracy, balance, verifiability, fundamental to good quality reporting. GRI 2, General Disclosure. This is like related to details about the organization structure, reporting practices, activities, workers, governance, strategy, policies, practices and stakeholder engagement. Next, material topics. Explain the steps by which organization can determine the topics most relevant to its impacts, its material topics, and describe how the sector standards are used in the process. So it also contains the disclosure for reporting its list of materials, so material topics, the process by which the organization has determined its material topics and how it manages each topic. Next, GRI sector standard. For sector means if in telecom, all the three VI, Airtel and Jio, all of them should follow. And even BSN also sometimes. GRI sector standard intend to increase the quality, completeness and consistency of reporting by organization. Standards were initially developed for 40 sectors, starting with those highest impact. The standard list topics that are likely to be material for most organizations in a given sector and indicate relevant disclosure to report on these topics. If an applicable sector standard is available, an organization is obliged to use it when reporting with the GRI standards. Next, GRI topic standard. GRI topic standards contain disclosure for providing information on topics. Example includes standard on waste, occupational health, safety and tax. Each standard incorporates an overview of the topic and disclosure specific to the topic. Disclosure is specific to the topic and how an organization manages its associated impacts. An organization select those topic standards that correspond to the material topics it has determined and uses them for reporting. So in gist, GRI standards universal, apply to all the three universal standards to your reporting. Next, sector, use the sector standards that apply to your sectors. Next is topic standard, select the topic standard to report on specific information on your material topics. Next, understanding the GRI framework. GRI offers 30 environmental performance indicators that should be used as a part of the environmental sustainability report. These performance indicators are divided into 9 primary categories. First, material energy, water, biodiversity, material energy, water, biodiversity, emissions, effluents, waste, and product and services, compliance, transport overall. So first, materials, energy, water, biodiversity, emissions, effluents, waste, products and services, compliance, transport overall. So remember, as a company doing the manufacturing and selling and last till the first company get the materials, next through the energy it will convert these materials, and next water will be used for that, and biodiversity also will be impacted, and next because while producing it will reduce emission, effluents and waste, and last product and services will be formed, and next before transporting should compliance and transport and overall done. Next, reporting process under GRI framework. The GRI foundation, the foundation of a sustainability reporting is for an organization to identify and prioritize its impact, on the economy, environment and people, to be transparent about their impact. GRI 1 is the starting point for all the organization reporting using the GRI standards. In that it lays out key concept and principles and list the requirements for reporting in accordance with the GRI standards. Identify and assess the impact. In identifying and assessing, GRI 2 will aid in the process by specifying disclosure in detail for the different aspects of the organization activity, and GRI 3 explains step by step how to identify and assess impacts together with their significance. Next, once an organization has assessed the significance of its impact, it needs to decide on which to report. To do this, it needs to prioritize the impact. Next, reporting disclosure. An organization that has determined its material topics need to gather relevant data to report the specific information on each topic. The topic in a sector standard list specific disclosure from topic standards identified for reporting on the topic by organization in the sector. The disclosure in the topic standards specify the information that needs to be collected to report according to the GRI standards. Means the disclosure which given in the topic standard that should be collected and report according to the GRI standards. Next, reporting in accordance with the GRI standards. GRI standards allows an organization to report information in a way that covers all of its most significant impact on the economy, environment, people, or to focus only on specific topics such as climate, child labor, etc. GRI recommends reporting in accordance with the GRI standards. This reporting approach provides a comprehensive picture of an organization's most significant impact on the economy, environment and people. And however, if an organization cannot fulfill the sum of the requirements, it can use selected GRI standards or part of it, their content, and report with the reference to GRI standards. Next, navigating a report. If a sector standard apply to the organization, sector standard reference number provide a unique identifier for each disclosure listed in a sector standard. This helps information users assess which of the disclosure listed in the applicable sector standard are included in the organization's reporting. GRI reporting is broken down into 5-step process. So in navigating process, there is a GRI reporting which is 5-step process. First, prepare, connect, define, monitor, report. First, should prepare and connect with GRI 1, 2, 3, and next define what GRI 1, GRI 2 and GRI 3 what is it is should define. Next, monitor and report. Here comes BRSR next. So for this first, BRSR framework has been developed after years of evaluation. So from 2009 to 2021 we have to go through now. First, they issued a voluntary guidelines. MCA issued a voluntary guidelines on CSR. Next, United Nations Human Rights Council adopted UN guiding principles on business and human rights, which indeed endorsed. Next, 2011, MCA issued national voluntary guidelines on social, environment and economic responsibilities of business. And in 2012, SEBI introduced non-financial reporting in form of BRR. Next, 2014, CSR was mandated and CSR rules came into effect, and BRR was extended by SEBI to top 500 listed companies by market cap. Next, in 2017, SEBI advised that IR may be adopted by companies on a voluntary basis from financial year 2017-18 by top 500. So, for top 500 also voluntary. Next, 2019, NVG were revised and MCA released the national guidelines on responsible business conduct. Next, on 2019, BRR was extended by SEBI to top 1000 listed companies by market cap. In 2019, finally, MCA formed a committee to align BRR format in line with the NGRBC. So, in 2021, SEBI introduced BRSR in May 2021. So, first, MCA introduced voluntary, and next human rights also adopted UN principles, and MCA issued national voluntary guidelines, and in 2012 SEBI introduced non-financial reporting for top 100, and next CSR came, and BRR also extended to top 500, and in 2017 it was voluntary for top 500, and in 2019 NVG revised and MCA released the national guidelines NGRBC, and 2019 BRR was extended to top 1000. So it started with 100, 500, next 1000, and in 2019 MCA formed a committee to align BRR format in line with NGRBC, and 2021 SEBI introduced BRSR in May 2021. Now BRR to BRSR, a company's comparative study. BRR guidelines on sustainability information can be classified into 5 categories as below. First, general information about the company. Next, financial details of the company. Next, business responsibility information. Next, principal wise performance and other details. So, first general, next financial, next business responsibility, next principal wise performance and other details. So, first general information, financial information, responsibility and principal wise performance and other details. Next, overview and applicability of BRSR. On 5th May 2021, SEBI LODR Regulation 2015 mandated top 1000 listed companies based on their market cap to prepare a BRR describing their initiatives taken by the listed company from environment ESG perspective in the format specified by SEBI from time to time, to provide that BRR shall discontinued after the financial year 21-22, and from the financial year 22-23, top 1000 listed entity based on market cap shall submit a BRSR in the format as specified by SEBI. And on 10th May 2021, applicability of BRSR notification were released. Sorry, not notification, circular. Circular has been released that applicability of BRSR and disclosure format on 10th May 2021, SEBI issued. And from effect of 22-23, BRSR has been mandatory for the top 1000 listed companies and has replaced the existing BRR with the BRSR. SEBI's disclosure requirements through BRSR have been introduced to keep pace with such investment strategies and growing concerns about responsible corporate governance and climate change. And BRSR is an essential component of sustainability finance that aims to integrate sustainability considerations into a company's reporting and disclosure practices. BRSR involves reporting on various ESG parameters such as environmental, social and community development, governance, economic performance. The disclosure of such information enables stakeholders to assess the company's sustainability performance and take the informed decision. Apart from the introducing newly relatively comprehensive disclosure framework, BRSR also include the following aspects. First, implementation of a NGRBC principle to address ESG related concern, disclosure of adequate policies and mechanism, enhanced disclosure on climate and social related issues, segregation of a disclosure into essential and leadership indicators. BRSR allows interplay for organizations that are already publishing sustainability reports under other internationally recognized framework. Means if they are following if they are preparing their reports according to international recognized framework, they no need to follow the BRSR. Next, structure or framework of BRSR. Before that, should have a look into approach adopted for developing the BRSR core. Means what approach they have took to develop the BRSR core. First, quantifiable and outcome oriented metrics. Next, relevance of the attributes areas in the BRSR core and comparability across the jurisdiction. First, should quantify and outcome oriented metrics, then should relevance of the attributes area in the BRSR core, then comparability across jurisdiction. The reporting framework is divided into 3 sections. First, general, next management and process disclosure, and next principle wise performance disclosure. General, management and process, principle wise performance disclosure. General, management and process disclosure, principle wise performance disclosure. Next, 9 principles of NGRBC. First one, business should conduct and govern themselves. First principle, business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity and in a manner that is ethical, transparent and accountable. So first, business should conduct and govern themselves with the integrity and manner and that is ethical and transparent and accountable. First, even independent director definition also start with integrity. So even NGRB also starts with integrity. So business should conduct and govern themselves with the integrity and in a manner that is ethical, transparent and accountable. So in this subpoints, first, detailed description of a number of trainings and awareness programs. No, I'll do one thing. First, I'll go through all the principle and then inside the stuff I'll come again. Next, principle 2. Business should provide goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. So, first, company should be integrity. Only then they can go and provide goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. Next, once they are integrity, govern themselves with the integrity and the goods and services providing. And third, Business should respect and promote the well-being of all employees, including those in their value chain. Means to produce the goods and services, they require employees, right? So should well-being of all employees, well-being of all employees. First, integrity. Next, provide goods and services in a sustainable and safe. And third, promote the well-being of all employees. Fourth, business should respect the interest of and be responsive to all the stakeholders. First, integrity. Next, sustainable and safe, provide goods and services. And third, all employees. And fourth, all stakeholders. Fifth, business should respect and promote human rights. First, integrity. Next, provide goods and services in sustainable and safe. And third, well-being of employees and responsive to all the stakeholders. And fifth is human rights, respect and promote the human rights. Sixth, business should respect and make efforts to protect the and restore the environment. So first one is fifth one was respect and promote, has to do. This should try, make effort to protect and restore the environment. First, integrity. Next, provide goods and services in sustainable and safe. And third, employees. Fourth, stakeholders. Fifth is respect and promote the human rights. Sixth is business should make efforts to protect and restore the environment. Seventh, business when engaging in influencing the public and regulatory policies should do so in a manner that is responsible and transparent. So whatever you are doing, it will be influencing the public and regulatory policies, so should do in a responsible and transparent manner. First one was integrity, second goods and services, and third employees, fourth stakeholders, fifth human rights, sixth protect and try to make efforts to protect and restore the environment, and last, be responsible and transparent. Eighth, business should promote inclusive growth and equitable development. So first one, integrity. Second, provide goods and services in sustainable and safe. Third, employees. Fourth, stakeholders. Fifth, human rights. Make efforts to protect and restore the environment. Seventh, engage in business when engaging in influencing the public and regulatory policies should do so in manner that is responsible and transparent. And eighth one is business should promote inclusive growth and equitable development. And last, ninth one is business should engage with and provide value to their consumers in a responsible manner. So business should engage with and provide value to their consumers in a responsible manner. Last comes consumer. Over. NGRBC 9 principles. So in first point, the first point in first principle, subpoints. First one is detailed description of number of trainings and awareness programs company conducted, and second, details of fine, penalties, punishment, and disclosure on number of complaints received, and details relating to anti-corruption. Next, disclosure. Second one, disclosure percentage of R&D and capital expenditure investment. Disclose the percentage of two things: one, R&D and capital expenditure investment. Next, disclose the procedure of sustainable sourcing. And third, details of life cycle assessment. Life cycle assessment is given in CSR also. And next, disclosure on extended producer responsibility. And next, third principle, detailed measures taken by the entity for their employees and detailed of retirement benefits. So for employees means first one, measures taken by the entity for their employees and retirement benefits. Fourth principle, disclose about the process for identifying key stakeholders group. And fifth, details of the training, details of the minimum wages paid. Sixth, specific disclosure relating to water withdrawal and disclosure regarding whether the entity has implemented a mechanism for zero liquid discharge, details of air emission or greenhouse gases, disclose the details of environmental impact assessment. Seventh, disclose details on the trade and industry chambers of the entity, disclose the details on trade and industry chambers of the entity, disclose details of corrective actions taken or underway on any issues related to anti-competitive conduct by the entity. And eighth, disclose details of social impact assessment of projects undertaken by the entity, disclose details of preferential procurement policy. Ninth, number of consumer complaints received during the current year and previous year, advertising, cyber security and unfair trade practices, and disclose regarding framework or policy on cyber security. Next, they gave a summary on ESG metrics once you go through it. Next, benefits of BRSR report. First, improved ESG performance. Second, competitive advantage. Means if there is A and B company, if A company is reporting according to BRSR and B is not reporting, so B will be in the advantage in compared to competitor, that is competitive advantage. Third, compliance with the regulations. Fourth, improved stakeholders. Fifth, risk management, cost saving, innovation, investor confidence, improved reputation, long term value creation. So in these benefits only 3 words are there: ICRL. 4 words actually. ICRL. With I, improved ESG performance, improved stakeholders engagement, innovation, investor confidence, improved reputation. With C, competitive advantage, compliance with the regulations, cost saving. And R, risk management. And L is long term value creation. Next, challenges of BRSR reporting. First, diverse views on sustainability. Next, multiple reporting standards and framework. Time consuming exercise, lack of understanding within the management, no clear proof of financial return on investment. So first one was diverse views on sustainability, means some other things it is a sustainable and some other thing it is not a sustainable. So diverse view of sustainability. Next, multiple reporting standards and framework, time consuming exercise, lack of understanding within the management, no clear proof of financial return on investment. And in the conclusion, there is an urgent need to invest in necessary mechanism which could help in 3 aspects. First, enable capturing the required data for reporting ESG matters, selection of the sustainable framework, level of assurance to be provided on such reporting. Thank you so much. If this video helped you, please subscribe, like, share and comment, and refer to other CS aspirants too. Even I am a CS student, but it will be helpful for you, means I am making this video. And one of my friend also asked to do video on this